Gamer here, one of my producers and a huge Alien fan, and Snuggles. Yeah, I know Covenant has been out since last month and everything, but kind of took this time to try to gather all of our thoughts and everything.
We're reviewing Covenant?
Yeah, you remember that movie?
I thought we were reviewing Alien, the greatest movie of...
No,
we're not.
That's near Halloween. That's like that would be a whole month of Halloween.
Well, fuck this. I'm out of here. I'm deep.
Now, wait a minute. No, come back. You are a big fan, and I need you for this. Come on. You watched the movie. Gotta suffer through it. At least you get the bitch, okay? So, anyways.
I fucking hate you.
I fucking hate myself for going and seeing this movie, too. And we paid full price. We didn't take advantage of any special things or anything in that. But, you know, yeah, as you can tell, this is for Covenant. Covenant's been out for more than a month now and everything. And we took this time to kind of let it settle and season, see what other people had to say and everything and that. And, ooh boy. So, of course, you know, as always.
Are there barf bags on this ride?
There's no barf bags. Over. Over. Thank you. Spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, either you didn't want to watch it, or if you're a big Aliens fan, you haven't got a chance for it yet, shame on you on the fact that you did go and watch it, but kind of good on you because you didn't have to suffer. Okay? So, let's go with
Be happy you avoided being a crash test dummy for this.
Let's go with the first. Let's go with the plot. The plot in general. How does this movie start off?
Plot centers around a group of people on board a ship known as the Covenant. It is the first ever mission to colonize a new world. An accident happens that causes damage to the ship, forcing the crew to wake up. The captain...
No captain.
James Franco.
Played by James Franco.
James Franco, we think, was in this movie.
We're not
Either
sure.
that or it was a big slab of barbecue ribs. We're not sure. But he's there somewhere. Anyways, there's bad morale amongst the crew. They're kind of sad. Everything's gone wrong. And in the midst of repairing the ship so they can continue their journey, they discover that another world, which was somehow missed during the survey because of reasons, there's a suitable world that's perfect nearby. And understandably, the crew, not having just gone through a bad experience, decides, hey, let's go here instead of going back into the freeze chambers for another 7 years.
And not end up like James Franco.
Yeah. James Franco was in this movie?
Unfortunately, yes, he was.
Oh, wow. I
And
didn't
he
know.
got top billing.
Anyways, so, in the middle of all that, too, what drives them is they receive a signal, which is a woman singing a John Denver song. I like John Denver. I apologize in his memory, may he rest in peace, for having to be put in this movie. Anyways, the crew arrives at this brand new world where they discover that it is far more hostile than anything that they were prepared for. People die. They encounter David, and this is where the prequel side is, Prometheus comes into play. We find out a bit more about what happened at the end of Prometheus. What,
Sort of.
Sort of.
This one takes place 10 years after Prometheus.
Yeah, so 10 years after, David has pretty much become a hermit. We, at a certain point, have no idea what happened with Shaw and her little thing. I want to go find the engineers and find out why they want to kill us and learn more about them. Well, we don't get that because David pretty much drops a shitload of canisters on a city of engineers and pretty much kills the whole lot of them, and then starts doing this mad scientist experiment, which is where we get the aliens that we see in the film that start killing everybody. And there's two types. There's the neomorphs, which are these really white, pale, pasty kind of Aborigine-looking kind of things that are
They're the
vicious
albino
as
version.
hell.
Oh, hell yeah, they're
vicious.
cool.
One of the best things about the movie is, they're brutal. I love these things. Then you get to the actual xenomorph, which is basically a protomorph. It's not the full biomechanical, it's more organic looking, so it's obviously a step in the evolution. But we find that it's David who is the cause of these things coming about because of him experimenting with the black goo. And we find out that part of the experiment takes place because he's using Shaw's body, who died off screen under circumstances that were never fully explained. Was she murdered by David? Did she die in transit? Did she fall ill and drop over? Did she commit suicide? We don't know. Anyways, humans try to escape planet, fight xenomorphs. Xenomorph gets pretty much rammed out of an airlock in the most cliched at this point, considering it's been done in more than a couple of films.
Aliens.
And Alien Resurrection.
Technically not
injected out into space.
Well, yeah, injected out into space. Fair enough.
And it's how the final Alien is done. We find out that David has stashed himself on board the Covenant, and everybody goes to sleep, and he's happy because he's got a crew. He's got a ship full of thousands of people that he can experiment.
Yeah, that only two of the crew made it.
That is basically the whole plot.
That's the simple plot of the movie. Yeah, and what he just said basically just gave you the entire movie right there.
And most of the movie you can see in the trailers.
Oh yeah.
Most of the important stuff that happens you see in the trailers.
Oh, definitely. So that's your general plot. Now, the other juicy part that is to any movie is characters. Besides, I'm ixnaying Michael Fassbender's characters, who plays Walter and David, because he plays in a freaking android, and he has more character development and stuff about him than any of the actual human characters.
Michael Fassbender is a great actor.
Oh, he's a brilliant actor. I can't none of his roles so far
he
can
plays
I take
a dual role where
and
he's playing two different characters, and he's able, with his ability, he's able to separate the personalities of each of them while playing them essentially in the same movie.
beautiful.
Even in a shitty movie, this guy can apparently do no wrong.
The only character that is a little bit, given a little bit of time to develop would be Daniels' character. The new Ripley of this series. And where she does a good job, I'm not gonna lie. She goes more into that badass mode a lot faster, but the main thing that drives her character, like he mentioned, shocking, James Franco's in the movie. He dies literally at the very beginning. James Franco's in the movie. He was the guy who burned alive in his hibernation tube.
Wow.
And she watches.
Somebody must have said, "We're lighting this bitch up." Thought they were smoking a joint and signed up.
Yeah, I mean, he did do Pineapple Express. Maybe he thought it was a sequel.
Somebody was doing this.
Yeah, but the whole thing is right afterwards. She watches a video with him that's only a few seconds of him talking. He's hanging off the side of a cliff or something, talking about how he wishes she was there and everything. And where the actress, she does a really good job at purveying the emotions, but you just don't feel the emotions. She talks with Walter later on about how when they got to the new world, they were going to build a wooden log cabin by the lake, completely by scratch, and where it is a good scene. She asks Dave, Walter, sorry, I got confused because of the twist that's coming up. Walter looks at her. Walter looks at her because she says, well, what am I supposed to do now? And he says, you build the cabin because you promised you would. And she smiles. And where you want to feel something for this part, you don't. None of the characters have anything great about them. Tennessee, where I really applaud, oh my god, the actor's name is Tennessee. Who played Tennessee?
I didn't delve emotionally.
The actor who played Tennessee, I'm sorry, his name up there. He is only a comedic actor, and he does a brilliant job in this, but to be honest, any actor could have played this part.
Any actor could have played it. I mean, the characters...
Danny McBride.
We already put it over here.
It doesn't matter. Go away.
It's right there.
Danny McBride.
Anyways, Danny McBride, I mean, yeah, he did good at the part, but the thing is, even his character was kind of flat. The whole thing is they tried to... Okay, like the movie Alien and Aliens, and hell, even Alien 3, there is enough personality with the variety of characters you see to make them interesting. Nothing interesting about these people. Hell, even the gay couple. And yes, there was a male gay couple within this movie, and I thought that was great that they kind of played it low-key like this is normal, which is great. That's something that should be normalized in today's world, considering they become more accepted.
But when they throw the part in where they're supposed to connect, it doesn't work.
There's nothing that we can even emotionally connect with them. We don't need it in our face, but at the same time, we need a reason to give a shit about
We didn't
them.
even know they were until the moment that, you know, they decided to
The one
lock
dies.
lips. Yeah, the one dies and they decide to kiss him, you know?
Yeah.
In Tennessee, his character, you're supposed to, he has this emotional part. You know,
Spice dies.
yeah, they try to do that where he's talking sexy with his wife and everything, but his wife dies. And he's told this, and he
And
shows
he's
a little
devastated
emotion.
for 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes, and I get it. When you're in a situation like this, it's like, yeah, I know they're dead, but damn, we gotta get moving. We gotta get the rest of our people out of there.
And I understand
But
that.
you're just, true, but, you know,
Later on, when it's calmed down, he should be delving in the.
he should
you know,
be sitting in his
reflecting the
room,
shock.
a freaking shot of whiskey
No,
or something.
he's
No,
making
he's-
sexual innuendos.
yeah, he's hitting on Daniels, basically.
It's like, my wife's dead. Hey, you're hot. You know, want to
Jay Franco's character. He had a 10-second video for his character, and to be honest, it was just James Franco. Nothing to it. The only other real character that you can really remember because
Is Captain
he's,
Orm.
yeah, he's given that label of captain. He takes over.
He's the dumbest motherfucker on the
He is.
shit. Okay, there was a scene where one of the neomorphs finds out where, you know, works its way to where they're hiding, and essentially gnaws through the neck of one of the crew that managed to survive up at this point. Their heads floating in the
Was
water.
a cool part.
You know, he's munching away on the corpse, and Captain Orm shows up, gun in hand, and, you know, he's about ready to kill it, and David comes in, no, wait, and, you know, he's doing some weird thing where he's getting the neomorph to kind of, you know, like, calm down and everything like that, and everything's nice and calm, and Orm is like, fuck this, and does the smart thing, shoots the fucker. David flips out, freaks out, no, I had it under control. It was okay.
me!
Trusted me! And, you know,
That's
then
enough of
David
this.
calms down. And it's like, you know, Orm's like, I think I deserve answers. I want to find out. Well, please, follow me into this chamber full of eggs. Look into this. Oh, it's perfectly harmless. So what does the dumb fuck does? He sticks his face in the fucking egg. You know, no,
What the
if it
fuck?
were me, I don't care. I just saw you conversing with something that just killed half my crew. I put a bullet in it and you freak out over it? I'm sorry. I'll figure out my answers after I put a bullet in your fucking head too. What the fuck? The dumbest goddamn character in the whole movie. And some of the characters do pull off some dumb shit. And going on the caring about characters, there's a scene where they do try to kind of push, hey, these guys are relatable. Look, where they're flying down to the ship, there's communications back and forth, and Tennessee's like, how's it going, sugar tits? And, you know, not bad, sweet dick, or whatever the hell it is. It's just like forced. It was, look at the dialogue we've presented to you so that you can care about these characters. They're just like you and me.
That's the only thing.
I don't walk around calling people sugar tits, you know, even if I know them very well. I am very close with some of the people I work with, and we can have some weird conversations. But I don't walk up to one of my coworkers and, hey, how's your day, sugar tits?
I thought that was my nickname.
No.
Okay.
Here's his puffy ass.
I'll take it. Yeah, and like he said, you know, literally the only characters that you honestly care about and get some development with is Walter and David. They have this great scene with Walter and David where they meet face to face. Okay, let me rephrase. It's a great scene, but it's also a really weird scene. Walter walks into where David's been living and notices that he's wood carved a lot of flutes. And David comes in basically, you know, asks him about it. Walter doesn't know how to play. And so he teaches him.
The most hilarious out of place line in the
Yeah,
entire
the
movie
only
is
scene
coming
where
up.
everybody in the theater laughed, including me. You know, and he's sitting there and he's starting to learn it.
Rogan just did that. Jean-Luc Picard.
He has it in his mouth. He's like, that's it. Now, you blow and I'll work the fingers. I'll let that sink in for a second.
I will work the fingers. I mean, essentially,
Now,
the whole scene was
close your eyes
Fassbender
and
wants
listen to that.
fuck Fassbender.
Yeah, I mean, he does try to talk with Walter, you know, about trying to see his way of things, and it's good. But also, too, this is the point in the movie where the entire point of the movie, what they were going for, just drops off. The first half, the very beginning of the movie, and you know, the first half of the movie, it's about creation, and you know, there's the very first scene in the beginning sets us up beautifully. I'll actually let you talk about it. He loves it so much. I think it's out of place, and it should have been a flashback scene later on.
I had really huge hopes for this movie right off the bat when the first scene is you see David's first experience. He's just activated, woken up.
Oh yeah, Guy Pearce is in this movie too.
Guy Pearce, who is playing Wayland, reprising his role from Prometheus, looking much younger, is in a conversation with David as far as creation, why he was created.
Yeah, David
You know,
just
David
woke
chooses
up.
his own name based on a statue of David. They have a conversation about creator versus created. And it sets the whole stage for David's ideas about creation and glowing beyond your masters or that which created you. Peter Wayland looks at David and has him play a piece, and he plays Wagner's God's Entry into Valhalla. I can't remember the exact title, but he's
that's what he
playing
plays.
it on the piano, and Wayland kind of meanly says it sounds rather flat without the orchestra, kind of insulting, you know, in a certain way. And David, you could tell, he kind of feels insulted, you know, is talking back to him about, you know, why was I created? You know, who created you? And, you know, you're going to die, I'm going to still live on. You know, whenever he asks Peter who created you, he's like, that is the ultimate question, which hopefully we will soon be able to answer, which hints to the fact that he's preparing for what's going to happen in Prometheus, that mission. And it sets it up beautifully because there is a scene which hints at David's betrayal of the human race, where Peter Wayland, even though he's got his tea set right beside him, and he can pour it himself, orders David to walk across the room and pour him some tea. And David just sits there for a brief moment, and Peter Wayland has to sternly look at him, David, my tea. And David walks over, pours him his tea, you know, almost kind of condescendingly, like he knows at this point that, yeah, I may have been built to serve you, but you can tell he's already starting a little bit of a rebellion. And that plays into the whole creation theme of the movie, which...
Yeah, the beginning starts off, you know, they've got crew members and colonists on there, and the crew members are all, you know, they're couples and everything, because they're going to go to this new world and start life. They've got embryos that Walter checks on all the time, you know, in cryo and all that.
2,000 people in cryos.
Yeah, you know, and after they
On the crew.
go to the planet and David meets Walter and they have the whole flute sex and everything, you know, that it just completely drops off from there and it becomes just a standard slasher horror movie. B horror movie. Simple as that.
I mean, great production quality. It cannot fault.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
any
know,
kind of film.
when you go for
for
looks,
Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott is a big visual director.
the look, the feel, the music, you know, all of it is really good. The only thing that I don't think they did right was the atmosphere, and we will get into that a little bit more, a little bit down, you know. But everything else, the visuals, the way stuff looks and everything, you know, the feel you get, it's beautiful. But that's about it. Okay, other than that, that's about
And
it.
again, there were no surprises in the film, really. I
No,
mean,
there were. Okay, that leads us to our next section. You know, this is more of a kind of a bullcrap, you know, bitching section. You know, and the first thing I start off is, you know, he already mentioned it earlier. This leads into two things. The first thing is, my thing is completely Shaw. When I heard that David's like, she died in the crash, I'm like, okay, maybe she did it. Maybe he's hiding her and everything.
and he is.
And
her body.
well, yeah, but you know, maybe he's hiding her, and she's gonna play a bigger role because Naomi Pierce. Is it?
Rapace.
Rapace.
Numi Rapace.
No,
Numi
Rapace. Okay, I'm sorry, ma'am, I butchered your name. Okay, it's like she's gonna appear and she's gonna be in the final act and help out the new people and everything. This is gonna be great. And then you find out as Walter enters her, the area for the second time, you see her dead body. And then Daniels later on discovers just drawings of the actress, of what happened to her, and he experimented
is
on her.
actually there, parts, what's left of it anyways. Her corpse is actually
it's not really,
but it's
her, it was
her
just
head,
built and everything.
things around it and stuff.
And the reason why this pisses me off, I'm not upset that she's dead, okay? I have no problem with that. Hell, if they did another Alien movie like when they did Resurrection and didn't bring back Ripley and focused on someone else, that would have been fine. It's the way she died. They don't tell you if she goes down fighting, except for when Daniels tries fighting off David and he says that's it, like he's used to that, so maybe. But all he could have done is at the end of the YouTube video that you watch, okay, you can only watch on YouTube, and the other one you can watch on YouTube, Last Supper, which doesn't appear in the movie, does a better job of setting up the characters than the movie actually does, but not by much. Anyway, when you get to that point, all he had to do was basically kill her while she was asleep. She didn't get to put up a fight. She was the hero, basically, of Prometheus, and she was moving into this next movie. There's a 10-year gap, and you find out that, one, I don't like it that David's the one who created the xenomorph.
I'm shaky on
On
that.
me, it's a Frankenstein kind of thing, and I think something as cultural and big as Aliens is to people, that it deserved something a little bit better of how this happened.
Crazy mad scientist robot doing a lab experiment and creates them.
Exactly.
Just
but that's it, okay? Just Saul's gone. No questions are answered, no nothing. It's just boom, died off screen. And I hate that. I really hate that they went that route. You could have at least shown just one backflash scene where she's being woken up and David's acting weird and she knows it. He likes her, but he's acting weird.
Fighting for
and she fights for her survival. She grabs something, she hits David over the head, she helped put his head back together. So she tries to do that. Just something to show that in the last moments, she did not go down without a fight. And there's none of that.
It's the Hicks and Newt scenario.
Exactly, and that was bullshit too from Alien Cubes. Hicks and Newt literally died before the movie begins.
Yeah.
She dies before this movie was even made, basically. And the only actual scene you get with the actress for the movie is when they find the message of her, and it's a hologram of her singing the song and messing with the controls.
And
that's it.
That's it.
That's all this actress did. She filmed that one YouTube thing, and then that scene right there. I really hope that girl got a lot of money for her part. Now, for the twist, you're going to love this. David, before he attacks Daniels, tries to kill Walter by sticking a flute in his neck.
We have Rock'em Sock'em Robots set up, where it's robot kung fu.
It is. They're both fighting. Walter lets David know that, hey, I'm better than you because I was made that. And when he's got David at his mercy, he's got his fist up, and, David's like, do it, do it. You slowly see his hand reaching for a knife on the ground, and then it cuts away.
And the next thing you see, is it David or is it Walter?
No, it's totally Walter. Walter, he's missing his hand.
Walter, he's missing his
He cut off his hand like Walter did when he protected Daniels and everything.
The way Walter lost his hand is he protected Daniels, got in the way of one of the neomorphs, and it bit his hand off.
No, he punched it in the mouth.
He
went like this, and it
bit
just
his hand
dissolved his hand off and everything. So David even goes that far. But, don't treat us like we're stupid, to be honest. If you wanted something like that, what you should have done was had them both fighting and Walter tell them to get out and get out of here. And then you have it, show a little bit more, like maybe it actually was Walter, but at some point as they're getting onto the ship, or David found a way to get to the ship. David held onto the bottom of the crane thing or something like that. But he runs out, and you totally know it's David, because one of the things David also does is he has kind of long hair when they first meet him, and he cuts his hair, and it looks exactly like Walter's, and they literally set that up at that point.
Right, and the whole thing is...
right in your face.
It is so cliche. I mean, yeah, I understand. There are a lot of things that even in movies that are considered great, which you can look at it and go, oh, I've seen that done before in other stories. It is really hard, to come up with original stuff that hasn't been seen or done before in some way. So I can understand, but it is so overly cliche and so focused on to where...
So in your face.
And it's not done in a clever way. It's, any idiot can see that this is, not Walter. And they even try to play it off when there's a second alien that shows up on the Covenant.
That's towards the end. That's towards the end.
But they play it off where, Walter, David, is helping, Tennessee and Daniels try to survive and escape and beat the alien. And honestly, if, considering how obvious it was, it would have played off much better and been more intense.
If he announces it's him.
If he
and
just
he's
pretty
the
much
one fucking with them.
He starts fucking with them while they're trying to survive. Instead of sealing things off, he's opening things up. He's making it easier for the alien to get to them. And they're fighting even harder to survive as a result of his interference. That would have played off much more intense, because now not only do you have this unstoppable perfect organism coming after you, you've also got an unseen force that you can't get to, who's working off screen from where they're at,
Basically
trying to fuck with you.
Yeah, trying to fuck you over hardcore.
That would have been a much better way of playing that off, instead of, I've helped you, I've saved you, go back to sleep in the hyperchambers. And then she realizes, oh my God, you're David, and he puts her to sleep. And then he goes through this whole thing of, puts a couple of alien embryos, facehugger embryos, in with the human embryos, and he's looking around and, at all of the different hypersleep chambers for the colonists that haven't been woken up yet, who will be woken up when they arrive at their planet. And you get that sense that I've got all these people to experiment on. They still could have played off to a certain extent with that, where David comes out on top, but make it to where they survive and it's a hard fight, and leave it on that kind of ambiguous ending to where, they're trapped in two separate ships. So,
yeah,
cliche.
but that's what ruins the final act. If you honestly want to know, you see the best part of this film, it literally is the first fight with the protomorph. When it first appears and is chasing Daniels, Tennessee has made it down to the planet, and Walter, David gets on there, and to be honest, it is a really good part. One of the guys, one of the actual Marines makes it, but he's hurt. He's been hit with acid and everything and that, so he's down. Daniels fucking runs out, grabs a fucking gun, takes the thing and hooks it onto a hook on the side. She goes to town. She actually fights. She gets knocked over the side and is attacking him. When her gun runs out, she grabs a fucking axe and does it that way. And she actually uses the crane that's on it to actually catch this protomorph and kill it.
Which is a callback to Aliens, whenever Ripley went in Power Loader to,
oh yeah, totally.
Different.
But it's a cool callback. And that scene is just really well done. Tennessee's trying to get up, and the protomorph's banging, and it's from the trailer, banging and trying to break through the glass and everything. And it's a really intense, good fight in daylight, to be honest. And then you get to the final act of the movie, the third part, where everything is supposed to go down. They've made it back to the ship. They're getting ready to go back to sleep. Daniels is now captain and everything and that. And all of a sudden, they wake up because the alarms go off. And that was the other fault of this movie, now that I remember it. Most of the movie, it's like Prometheus on the fact that it takes place on the planet and not this beautiful ship with all these tight corridors and everything. Yeah,
not really.
The chance you get to explore the ship is at the end when they're running around a certain area. All those small corridors and everything, all that claustrophobia feel you could have got, you don't get.
Yeah.
They immediately go into badass mode, grab their guns. Daniels comes up with the plan of shutting out certain places and getting it to go into the docking area, where, like he stated, there's no real big fight. It gets knocked out.
Not tense.
It jumps back out, and all Daniels does is stand there. She knows it's coming. It jumps. She ducks. It gets hit by something and impaled, and it falls out into space.
Yeah.
And then you get
back out into space.
And that literally is it. I explained it within a couple minutes. And even though the scene is longer than that, that's all it is.
It's really, it happens too quick. It's not, okay, the scene in Alien at the end, that surprise act.
Don't use those. Those are the good ones.
Well, I'm just saying, the movie builds up that tension within it. It isn't, oh, Ripley gets, startled because the alien's on the shuttle. She runs in, instantly puts on the suit, climbs out, and ejects it into space. You know, it doesn't have, you get that feeling,
Yeah,
that
it's
building
very-
of tension where she's looking through the glass. She's like trying to figure it out.
And she's
looks at the
singing
suit,
something.
She's slowly getting in the suit, and she's trying to build up the courage for what she's doing by singing "You Are My Lucky Star." You know, the shaking of her voice, you know, she's not sure if she's going to make it out of this alive or not, and then she sits in the chair, she's strapping herself in, operates the controls. She has to turn around and turn her back on this thing as it's climbing out. You know, breathing, you know, keeping her calm. She can tell her nerves are fried, and then she looks back, sees it's about to attack, goes, ah, hits. Then you get that quick action sequence where it's blown back, starts to climb back in. She shoots it with a grappling hook, it goes flying out.
But it's still not
it's still caught, and it's trying to climb back in by way of the engine, and she runs over, hits it, and blows it away. All of that, yeah, it may take place over like 5 to 10 minute time span, but it's the way it's shot, it's intense, it's built up, you feel the emotion. In this one, it's that we're trapped in this area with it. We have our guns, yes, but she knows by this point we can't shoot it. She even tells Tennessee, don't shoot it. Its blood is acidic. And he's like, oh, that's nice to know.
Yeah, so why'd they grab the guns in the first place?
So they're in there. There was no tension, no build-up. It was just too quick. There's a quick scene where she runs through the cab area of one of the heavy equipment. It breaks through the glass of one. She shuts the door, breaks through the glass of the other. It was all too quick. You got a sense from the characters that we know what we're doing. This is our turf. We're fighting on our turf, and we're going to win. There wasn't any of that nervous,
Hell.
how am I going to survive this? Oh my God, we're so
Hell.
outmatched. It was the alien basically, it was Boba Fett and the Empire Strikes Back. It went down like a bitch.
Return to Jenna.
Return of the Jedi. I am so sorry. You can have my nerd card back. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You can keep it.
It's just-
Hell, the final act, the final fight in Alien Cubed, the assembly cut, or the regular one. I'm not sure if that's in the
It's in
assembly
both.
cut. Okay, so in Alien Cubed, the final act of that part with them fighting the alien is more intense than Covenant's. Even especially Covenant, they try to throw in. We totally forgot. Tennessee and Daniels weren't the only ones who made it. You know, the one guy who made it, he was actually implanted, and that's where the new protomorph came from. But there was a black guy and a white girl couple that were around the movie. They stayed on the Covenant the entire film, and they show it in the trailer, and I called it, and you know I did. Yeah, you know I called it. You know, you're like, that could be really intense. I'm like, Kevin, it's a shower scene, dude. And he's like, I'm gonna give it the shot. And we watched it. It was exactly like I thought it was. They're in the shower. The one guy gets killed, and then the other girl gets killed. You know,
it's too quick. There's no. Yes, I understand. It's supposed to be a brutal, perfect organism. It's brutal and unforgiving, but it's too quick.
It's too
no
quick.
tension with it.
You know, it made me think of Friday the 13th. Literally, those were the two camp counselors getting it on and taking a shower, and Jason just showed up and axed them off.
That
You
was
know?
everybody on this crew. They were
Yeah.
just all the camp counselors.
They were
being picked off.
they were all throwaway characters except for Tennessee and Daniels, who have a little bit of development and make it in the end. And like he stated, you know, that's where they put the second. That's where they thought that no one would get the twist. As she puts Tennessee to sleep. She crawls in. She's talking with Walter, and she looks at him, and Walter promised to help her build that cabin. So she asks, she's like, when we get there, you help me build that cabin, Walter. And he doesn't respond. So she says, Walter.
He doesn't know.
And he doesn't respond again. Then she says, David.
And
And the stuff
smirks a
already
little.
starts going like this as she's banging on the thing and she falls asleep. And that is where everybody in the audience was supposed to go,
It's really David.
our reaction from that was,
Wow, didn't see that coming.
and that was kind of the reaction we had. I mean, I wasn't trying to analyze stuff. I was like, I got in the theater, I sat down, I'm like, let's do this. The first scene happened, and I'm mostly like, I laughed at the fluke part, took a drink, the one scene, the only scene I was like this, I was like, oh, this crane scene is awesome. Yeah, that means the third act has gotta kick ass, and after that, it just falls apart. And then they do something that, to be honest, to me, is also insulting to the first Alien film. David gives that ending thing where, like, this is, Walter, number da-da-da, Tennessee and Daniels are the only survivors along with the crew and everything, and, because the crew died from a accident in space and all that, and leaves that calling card, kind of like what Ripley does in the original Aliens, and this movie doesn't deserve that. Yeah. They do not have the right to use that to call back to the original Alien. This movie, how we put it is simply, one, it tries to do too much, it moves too fast, it tries to get to what people want, which is the xenomorph. And
but
from
at the
doing
same time,
that,
it tries to be a philosophical
it
that
tries,
drops it.
Yeah, this whole thing of creation, and then that's dropped in. Oh, hey, look, xenomorph. Hell, even though it's shown AVP is not part of the, canon, but they do like an AVP when freaking the captain, sticks his head into that, egg. He gets hit with a face hugger. Like, one scene happens with Daniels and that, and then he goes back to, him, and he already is having it come out of him with David watching, and then, as he puts it, the xenomorph comes out of the man's body, fully formed, not a chest burster, fully formed, just small.
And ridiculous scene. One of the ridiculous scenes.
Really ridiculous.
Jesus,
yeah, David goes like this, and the xenomorph
it's
copies
like,
him.
Daddy?
And if you edit in a bright light and everything in the there you go.
Yeah.
So
all we needed was a little Pope's hat on top of the
oh God, yes.
Perfect.
Put a Pope hat on it, and that was it. Everything, it goes too fast. Then when it gets to the part that fans want, all it does is let loose the creature. It's like kill, 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 kill. There's no balance to the movie. It doesn't balance itself. It tries one thing, and it feels like it's not doing that, so it drops off to something else. It tries to give the fans what they want, but it gives us characters that you give no shits for. I'll grant it. Some of the characters within the previous films, it's like, okay, they got axed off, that's sad, but at least they had time. Hell, the first Alien movie takes almost an hour setting up its characters, and Aliens is a better example because it only has about maybe 40 minutes? And in the first scene, you see the Colonial Marines with the, could you fetch my slipper shirt, that'd be nice, have you ever been mistaken for a man at you? Yeah, Hudson, how do I get out of this chicken shit outfit? Hudson, come here. You get everybody's personality, even the characters who die real quick, like freaking, Frost.
You don't get, like a major insight into Frost, Spunkmeyer, Diedrich, you get a little bit.
Diedrich, he's like the male Vasquez. Not Diedrich.
Diedrich is the medic. She,
I get their names confused. They're both D's.
But I mean, you get a little bit still of everybody and a reason to care. You still got a couple within even Aliens with the Colonial Marines, some of the stock characters.
Yeah, but hell, you even understand who Hicks is, and he rarely fucking talks until shit goes down.
Yeah.
I
carry this
stand there.
Encounter.
Yeah, and he falls asleep while they're dropping down and everything in that.
But you get a sense of their personality, the way they interact, and their camaraderie and everything. You have a reason to care.
You don't want them to die, you want them to make it, especially, even though Hudson turns into a little bitch, his personality's right off the bat, my team of total badasses will protect you and everything.
It's the best lines in the movie.
Yeah, he has the best lines. Hell, even Bishop gets some of that character.
Arguably, out of the Aliens franchise, Aliens has the most quotable lines, and most of those come from Bill Paxton. Rest your soul, man.
Yeah.
Bill Paxton has the most quotable lines in the entire franchise.
Yeah, hell, in the comments, do this. Go ahead, in the comments, for Alien Q the Resurrection, and hell, even Alien, try to give me as many quotable lines as you can.
Without looking them up.
Without looking them up, and without any of the ones that we spotted off with. I honestly, the only thing, I honestly don't remember fucking anything, except for it's not really a quotable line, but I remember the scene, with the other Ripley clones and being begged to killed, That's about.
That's a fuck to get off this.
That's
one
the
thing
only
I
one. Or anything dealing with, Brad Dourif, because he's just creepy in anything, But this movie, the way I put it when I told him is, I'm really disappointed, and I have to keep forgetting, I need to sign that petition for Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5 that got killed by Ridley Scott and Fox because they were so like Covenant's gonna do this.
Series.
And this movie was supposed to be a freaking apology for Prometheus. We saw Prometheus and it was good and the director's cut's better, but there's just...
And I think that's where it fails on the level, is that Ridley, the philosophical parts are carryovers from Prometheus, where
Yeah.
Ridley Scott's trying to still push what he started in Prometheus, but considering how split people were on Prometheus,
And then he's got to lead into
now he's
giving the
trying
origin.
in Covenant to give the fans what they want, while at the same time, and that's where it comes into the, like you said, it tries to be too many things at once. He should have either stuck with his guns and said, look, this is a story I'm giving you, and stuck with those themes and build up to it.
Because Prometheus
Or
even
just said, scrap it and do a complete science fiction horror, one or the other. Don't
Yeah.
try to blend it too much,
or
because it's where it
do a
fails.
sequel to Prometheus, but still do a sequel to Covenant. They were so adamant about this that they were willing to do it. And I looked at him and he told me, I'm like, I'm upset that Neil's got canceled, but you know what? Ridley is an amazing guy. I will give him his shot. This is his shot, and he fucked his shot up. To be honest, he fucked it up. It's not just his fault. His writers are to blame as well. But he had his chance, so give somebody else a chance. And it doesn't have to be Neil. Hell, you can get almost anybody who is a good actor within this kind of genre a shot. So, Ridley had your chance. Someone else deserves a chance now because they're still planning 2 more movies off. And to be honest, this movie...
Alien Awakening is the next one.
This movie went to the box office, and on its opening day, the day we went, it only made $38 million. That's less than AVP's opening. Hell, that's freaking less than Dawn of Justice's opening.
And to be fair with Dawn of Justice, a lot of people were hyped up for that because first time we're going to see Batman
True.
and Superman on screen
But
going at it, so that's understandable.
Covenant could not outbeat Guardians, which, no offense, yeah, the Marvel Cinematic Universe kicks ass. But if this movie was supposed to be what it was supposed to be, it should have knocked Guardians down.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
It should have knocked it out.
Barely made back the amount of money it made, and Fox is still going for it. And to be honest...
I think it's mainly because, well, shit, we've already committed to it, we've already set this up, we've got to finish it.
Yeah. You would think after Colonial Marines, Resurrection, Requiem, and Prometheus, Fox would be like, look, why don't we actually let you work and do this for a few years? Don't just go with what you got and everything, really focus on it and bring on more people than just, that. It's a very disappointing, a very disappointing film. When you compare it to, if you go by best alien films, you got the first one and the second one.
Which I put those on the same level. There are a lot of people who say Alien is better than Aliens, or Aliens is better than Alien. I'm in that school where I can't really put one above the other because Alien is a perfect, tense, atmospheric movie that sets the stage. We wouldn't have Aliens if it weren't for Alien. And Aliens is that logical next conclusion that Cameron presents to us that is just beautifully executed the whole way through. Again, it has some of the most memorable lines, some great scenes. It's more action-oriented than horror, but it still has enough horror in it where it keeps you on the edge of your seat.
I kind of look at it as T2.
I mean, I can't put Alien over Aliens or Aliens over Alien. They are as... It is one of those rare occasions where I don't see the sequel surpassing the original, but it is such on an equal level that they are perfect together. They are together that perfect set of films. Alien 3 falls short of that bar because of a whole bunch of issues that would take an entire another video to do.
It would.
But if you're an Aliens fan,
if you
already know the production fuck-ups and everything.
If you're a diehard fan, though, you probably have already gone to see Covenant or, that. And there's a lot of people who like it. And to be honest, I think most of that is settled because they were just so hyped. We were hyped as well. But, they were just so hyped that they don't even look at some things, and, they try to make arguments, and, we don't fight with them or anything in that, because it's their opinion, and it's your opinion too, and everything. But if you take account of everything into it and everything, what would you give this?
Well, and to go on that, going with fans, I'm part of a Facebook group called the Wayland-Yutani Bulletin, where
Same.
it is a
Put a plug in the bottom.
free plug, guys. It's a site for everything aliens, in the franchise. We're huge fans getting together and just discussing. It's a beautiful group. And a couple polls, one poll I put up there was another poll I think that was also put up there by someone else as far as how, if people enjoyed the movie or not. And surprisingly, a majority of people who voted that they either thought it was good or great. So there was a lot of positive, response to the movie. Me personally, when you look at everything, it is not a terrible movie. It is not the worst movie in the franchise. That, in my opinion, if you go on canon, is reserved for Resurrection.
Resurrection.
If you go on everything that's done with aliens in it, it's better than it's definitely better than Requiem and better than Resurrection. So it's also better than AVP.
What about Prometheus?
Prometheus, I think, because of this movie, it made me appreciate Prometheus a little more because it at least stuck to those philosophical themes, even though crew scientists were complete dumbasses, even worse in some cases than the Covenant. There were some hefty themes in there that really made you think, where it really did dumb it down a little bit. And overall, this was, for me, an average movie. I give it a solid 5 out of 10 stars because of the fact that great production quality. The creature effects were great. The neomorphs were amazing. I thought that was a great... it would have gotten a couple notches higher if that had been the main focus as far as the creatures. I feel they shoehorned in the alien. It felt too out of place within what they had accomplished before. I almost say it was 2 separate movies rolled into one. So it's not horrible, but it's not great. If I were to put it in context of the rest of the franchise, as it were, and ignoring AVP, I would put it as being the 4th best film in the franchise. It is just below the assembly cut of Alien 3, even though that had huge production problems, there's huge plot holes and everything like that. It still was a streamlined movie. It stayed the course. It didn't try to veer off in it and try to be anything that it wasn't. So, as far as rankings it goes, Alien and Aliens are tied. Alien 3, Covenant, then, all the other crap. So, I give it a 5 out of 10. It's a very average. No, 5 out of 10 eggs.
5 out of
none
10.
of which I'm willing to stick my face into.
But for science,
Not even for science.
that kind of puts a little pressure on me, yeah, it's my own opinion and everything, but, I kind of stand like where he is. I love the crane scene, and, using motion capture, performance capture for the xenomorph was a great idea.
Which
it
they
looks
didn't
great.
use. They ditched that in favor of, I read production stuff, they did ditch almost all of the practical effects for the alien for digital.
Huh. Well, they still did a pretty good job. Using some practical effects here and there, and then enhancing it with CGI probably would have done really well. So I think I'm going to sit at 5 eggs out of 10 as well. It's not the worst alien movie I've seen. It's just, it's disappointed on so many levels. Just so badly that, when I finished watching it and I was in the theater, we thought there might have been an after credit scene. It wasn't. I didn't say anything to him until he said something, because I thought I was going to look at him and
Even ask him. I was
wow.
stoic I was bright-eyed, like, wow, right at the beginning with the whole David and Peter Whalen thing. But after that, I was just watching the movie. I couldn't.
had your chance. This is my chance. It's okay, but
Sorry.
like he said,
I was stoic.
he was stoic and so was I. And when he looked at me and said, "What?" and I was just like, "Oh my god." I thought if I told you it was crap that you were gonna freaking strike me down and shove me into a freaking torture room and have an egg in front of my face.
Shove you out an airlock.
Or shove me down an airline. Very cliche though. Very cliche.
Is
but
it?
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think that's ever been done before.
If it hasn't, we gotta get on it. But totally, an average movie probably will be picked up to be part of the collection.
Oh, I'm an Alien fan. I'm taking it up because it's part of the franchise.
Hopefully with that Blu-ray release, though, there are some scenes added that were deleted or added in, or something has changed, because he's reading the book that was written for the movie, and the book is better than the movie. And if the movie came first and then the movie should be better. Not the book, not at all. Just, you know,
The book adds some inner dialogue that obviously you can't get in the film, so you get to know the characters a little better. So I can appreciate it. If I were to give that same rating for the book, and I'm only halfway through right now, I would right now give the book about a 7 out of 10.
that's better than average.
If if I could somehow put that inner dialogue that we see in the book into the movie, it would be a much better experience. You'd get a little more character flavor. You get a taste of what's going on a little more. The interactions don't feel forced. So I would give it a higher ranking, but the movie itself.
The movie itself, I would, to be honest, also too, because it didn't make back its money, enough money anyways. Wait for it to come out on Blu-ray,
Yeah,
and also wait and see if you can get it like online, where like eBay, where someone's giving it for a discount price, because that would be better for you. Then you can watch it at home and everything, and you can see exactly what we're talking about. Of course, other people will have their own opinions and everything, but that's ours. To us, it's 5 out of 10. Meh.
Yeah.
It's an average movie that should have been kick ass.
Yeah, for all of our bitching about things, it wasn't wholly terrible. There were some great things, but there was so much that knocked it back down.
Yeah, Ridley, you had your chance. I'll put the petition link in the bottom when because I'm gonna find it. Please sign that petition. I was able to convince him. Neil deserves a chance now.
I was on the fence with Neil because he wanted to erase 3 and 4. 4, I'm fine. He wanted to
Alternate
erase
timeline.
Resurrection, that's fine. But he wanted to erase 3, which I can understand. Some people don't like it, others do.
He wanted to bring back Newton Hicks and give them a final ending for the story and everything.
The way that it should have been. But
It
and I was on the fence with that. It's like, don't mess with it. Just continue on with a different story, different characters. But
Which would be cool too to see.
now I'm more or less like,
And
okay, let's see what you got.
Stop with the prequels. You
Well,
gave.
we're already too late with that. They've got to finish what they started. So hopefully,
Unless something really irks us with the next Alien film, probably won't even go and see it in the theater. Or might at a discount price just because
I've seen every
he's
movie
seen
except
everyone.
for Aliens.
Except for Aliens. So
Every one of them in the theater, except for, well, also I don't count as part of the actual continuing, but I didn't see Requiem in the theater. That's the only other one.
Okay,
But-
so we'll have to
And
go
the only
see it.
reason is nobody plays Aliens locally whenever it's like Alien Day.
True.
So,
Yeah.
where we live anyway.
True.
I don't want to. It'd be expensive to buy plane tickets to go see it in the theater.
So hopefully this gives it to you, especially you guys who were going to put this on the bulletin and everything. Please don't crucify us. If you want to bring up some points and everything that you want to talk to us about, sure, go ahead. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below and everything. Be tasteful, please. I don't want to have to get into a YouTube fight over anybody and everything. Play more, like he said. Thank you for watching. This is analretenitivegamer, one of his producers, last 2 survivors of the Covenant, signing off.
Free hugs. My experiment is done.